Hi, Assalamualaikum. We are from Group 7 and we are going to present about Grenfell Tower Fire. The member of our team is firstly me, myself, Muhammad Nur Haikal bin Nurudham. And next is Razwan bin Anwar. Third will be Izani Hadzi bin Andy. And the last member is Dmosh, anak lelaki Baskaran.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Razwan bin Anwar. First, I will present about the description of the incident. On 14 June 2017, a fire broke out in the 24-story Grenfell Tower block of apartment in North Kensington, which located at West London, which is caused by killing 72 people, including 2 who died later in the hospitals. More than 70 individuals were hurt and 223 people were able to flee. It was the deadliest structural fire in the UK since the 1988 Grenfell Tower catastrophe. A defective fridge freezer on the 4th story ignited the fire. It quickly crept up the building exterior, which causing fire and smoke to spread throughout all of the residential floors. The fire raged for nearly 60 hours until it was ultimately put out. In an effort to suppress the fire and rescue residents, more than 250 London Fire Brigade firemen with 70 fire engines from stations around London were involved. Thank you. For the second one is analysis of fire risk, which is the similar one to the case is secondary fire. It involves the ignition of flammable components that are directly related to the operation and are occasionally present unnecessarily. Flammable insulation of vessels, pipelines, and electrical cables, and combustible construction material and linings, for example. Combustible materials should be avoided or segregated. In combustible construction and insulating materials should be used and ignition sources should be controlled. Careless or intentional activities may thwart built-in safeguards. It is comparable since the fire started on the 4th level with a faulty fridge freezer and quickly spread out the buildings outside and also bringing flames and smoke to residential floors. Thank you.
Hi, I am Muhammad Nur Haikal and my student number is 1200502702. And I'm going to present about cause of accident/hazardous condition. There are 4 hazards that have been identified from the event. Firstly is electrical hazard, which is malfunctioning fridge freezer. Next is chemical hazard, which is the smokes. And lastly will be the safety hazard, fire doors that fail to close and seal properly, and building cladding. The fire was started by a malfunctioning fridge freezer on the 4th floor. Smoke and flame filled the entire building exterior, and because of the building cladding, the external insulation and air gap, the stack effect was possible. In the end, the fire blazed for nearly 60 hours before it was put out. During that night, the smoke alarm woke up the apartment's resident, and the smoke was coming from the fridge freezer when the resident entered the kitchen. And then the smoke began to spread from impacted flats into the lobbies as a result of fire doors that failed to close and seal properly. In the early morning or hours of January 33, LFB began getting calls from residents who were trapped in their apartments. Smoke began to enter the stair somewhere between 1:30 and 1:40. There were 20 escapees between 1:38 and 1:58, indicating a slowdown in evacuation. During the time period from 1:58 until 3:58, more than half of those who were still trapped died, despite the fact that it was still spreading sideways. It had reached the north side at 1:42 AM. Next, I will continue to present about evacuation procedure. I divided the evacuation procedure into 2, which is on discovering a fire and on hearing the alarm or being warned of the fire. Firstly, on discovering the fire. Firstly, we want other occupants in immediate area and activate the alarm, call fire and emergency from a safe place, evacuate the building to the assembly area using the nearest escape route, closing doors as well evacuate, assist any person with impairment out of the building where possible, must report to the building warden at the assembly area. Next is on hearing the alarm or being warned of fire. Firstly, they need to activate the alarm if not already. Next, each occupant is responsible for checking that all persons in their apartment are evacuated to the assembly area. Proceed to assembly point, closing door as evacuate. Knock on neighbor doors and shout to alert occupants. Use the nearest safe escape route and make sure to assist others that may need help. Report apartment evacuation status to the building warden. Carry out any instruction given by building warden. If unable to inform other occupants during an evacuation, inform to the warden or the fire and emergency team. While evacuate, do not use the lift or do not re-enter until all care is given by the building warden or the fire and emergency team. And lastly, the building management must put notices at every escape route and also the map of escape route to the evacuation point. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Dinesh son of Bhaskaran, and today I am going to present my part, which is firefighting equipment used for the incident. Okay, the first one is fire hoses, which is used for connect the water line to smother the fire. The second equipment are flame absorb, which is the powder that can use for smother the flammable liquid spills in case in the apartment there are some substance flammable liquids. They can use the flame absorb. Okay, the third one is the fire extinguisher. Okay, so everyone know the fire extinguisher, which commonly used in most of fire incidents. The last equipment are air pressurized water, which helps to blast out water with high pressure to make the fire calm. Okay, which is same like fire extinguisher, but it's quite different because it's pressurized water in there, not like exact fire extinguisher, but almost the same. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Izani Hadzi and I would like to talk about the corrective and prevention action to prevent reoccurrence. So, the first point of corrective is extensively refurbish and publicize new windows, a water heating system for single units and new aluminium composite coverings were added to the tower. So, next, the Arcanic Rainabon PE, which is made out of 2 aluminium sheets coil, was utilized for fusing on either side of a core of polyethylene and Rainolux aluminium sheets. So, 2 kinds of coverings have been employed. The thermal insulation was Celotex RS5000 PIR, and the second one was attached to the exterior of the walls of the apartments. A greater fire-resistant alternate cladding was denied at their expenses. Okay, let's move to prevention. So, the first point of prevention is resident of Grenfell Tower had raised concern about the fire safety 12 years before the Grenfell Tower fire. The Grenfell Action Group, or GAG, has criticized the Council and KCTMO for their failure to maintain fire safety. Next, KCTMO Health and Safety Officer published a 2012 fire risk assessment which highlight safety problems in Grenfell Tower. 2 women campaigned for greater fire safety were later killed by the tower block fire, and the KCTMO has since apologized to the families of the victims. Last but not least, the Grenfell Tower has no fire sprinkler and there are concerns about the exposed gas piping. The resident says landlord KCTMO is ignoring its responsibility to ensure safety of its tenants. The Grenfell Tower fire killed at least people in London on June.
So that's all from me. Thank you.